Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Burrill Logue and I get to take you on a backstage tour of the show It's a Wonderful Life here at the Rose Theater. I actually am not an actor in the show, but I am part of the crew and I hang out backstage, so that makes me a person that can take you around to show you lots of different things about this show. We're going to start off first by saying there's really not that much that goes on backstage. There's one moment in the show where I run up to the fly rail and I fly in a banner that comes down. This show, actually, every part of it takes place right here on stage. There are a total of 10 actors, and those 10 actors have what we kind of call like a home base. And those home bases are where their characters come alive. So everything that they need for every part of the show is surrounding them where they start the show and throughout different parts. So we're going to kind of show you some of those areas. Our first area is right here. This is where our narrator, Joseph, who is also an angel, sits and kind of is their home base. They have their bell there, there's hand sanitizer, and this is where they kind of start. This is also where Clarence, our other angel, who kind of goes on the adventure with George Bailey, the lead character, he kind of hangs out here as well. And so this is kind of their home base. So they will set things around here, and then they do have a couple of things that are back here off stage, really right off stage, where they can switch out their wings and stuff like that, certain costumes. So that's something that's kind of neat. If we go over here, right here is, this is on wheels. This is a cart that we actually built, and we use it for multiple things. It's used as the Bailey Brothers Building and Loan. It's also used as the drugstore. And then at times it's used as the bank as well. And so what's really neat is that, if you want to come this way, back here, we have all kinds of things that we will then set up. So this is something that we might set on here to make it into the bank. And then we have some things like this so we can pretend that we're at the bank. And the actors will utilize that. We also have some fake money. And so that's one way. And this piece is on wheels, making it very easy for them to move back and forth from this place to downstage to the stage left or wherever it needs to be. So that's one of the pieces that's kind of a big moving piece, and it's almost like a character itself, which is really, really neat. So right over here is actually two of our characters. We have our character that plays Suzu and our character that plays Mary, and they both actually play a multitude of different roles, but this is their home base. So if you want to come a little bit closer, I'll kind of show you. There's times where an actor might sit right here on this bench. This is also used as a slow motion time warp thing that happens throughout the show as well. So we utilize props that are right here, not making it so that the actors have to run off stage and come back on stage because they're right here. Their bells are here, the flowers here. There's things like suitcases, their costumes, they kind of drape over their places. Down here is when Mary becomes a librarian. She'll pick up this, and she even has her own set of keys to the library that's right here. And when they get married, here's some props that we have, so that's like a flower. And then back here, we have boxes and different things that allow the actors to kind of hide, like sheets that we utilize to make a couch turn into a snowbank, and like kind of a lake where where one of our actors pretends that they fall through the ice. So that's kind of this area where two actors kind of utilize it. So again, we're talking more about being on stage instead of everything being backstage. So this right here, this desk is utilized for multiple different scenes throughout the play. Sometimes it's a boardroom, sometimes it's a desk, sometimes it's used as like a kitchen table. So it's really neat that everything is on wheels or casters so that we can move things around. This sign also plays an important role because at one point in the show, we are in Bedford Falls. But later on in the show, we actually have a sign down here that we put up when George Bailey decides that he doesn't want to exist anymore, that it becomes Pottersville. And so that sign goes up and the actors change it out, which is really, really neat. And then I think actually back here, at the beginning of the show, we have a snowball fight. So we have these really neat snowballs that were made by our prop master. They kind of feel like a snowball too. And there's a silent snowball fight where they throw them, and then there's a louder snowball fight. And so sometimes I'll find these all over the stage after the show. Over here, we actually have a street lamp that will roll out for a scene when they're singing about the moon, and George talks about how he's going to lasso the moon down. This is really a fun prop because it kind of rolls out and it creates a whole nother scene up here, which is really neat. During this show, we also have a musician that is live playing throughout. Now this is not a musical like some other shows, but there are musical elements in it, which is really neat. So when different characters come on, our musical director, Jerry, he plays different sounds that you'll hear. So when kind of like our villain character, Mr. Potter, he comes on, he has a different kind of heavier, darker sound. And you might hear that when you're watching this. And then when there's other times you'll hear some Christmas music, or when they have the dance at the school, they do like this little Charleston dance. And so what our team did was they actually built this facade or fake piano, and Jerry's keyboard actually lives inside it. But it looks like on the outside to the audience and to you that it's a real upright piano. But it's actually his keyboard hanging out. And so Jerry has his things that are back here. There's a moment where he plays a slide whistle, some bells, and then we've kind of been able to use some props. Telephones play they're kind of a character in themselves. They play a big role in this play, so there's multiple different telephones. And then these are some other areas that characters will live, and so that's why their props and things are all up here. And so that's kind of their living area, and it's really neat because they're just here the entire time.
Celebrate the holidays at the Rose Theater with It's a Wonderful Life. Based on the classic film, George Bailey learns that, despite all its hardships, this has truly been a wonderful life. Treat your family to a magical performance from the comfort of your own home with a digital link. Share in this heartfelt, hopeful tidings about the power of community. Digital tickets available now at www.rosetheater.org. That's www.rosetheater.org.